Welcome back to Loon's Leaves, y'all. Today we're talking about my top 5 favorite houseplants of 2020. We're gonna get right into talking about my top 5 favorite houseplants of 2020. I also have an honorable mention, but before we do that, yes, I am in my bathroom again. I think the lighting in here and the sound quality is beneficial for my videos, but additionally, it's also 8:30 in the morning on a Saturday. I typically film during the work week, during my lunch breaks, and my neighbors are still sleeping, and the room I film in backs up to their bedroom. So I don't want to wake them up, and I don't feel like they need to hear me banter about my favorite plants of 2020 at 8:30 in the morning. So that's why we're in my bathroom. To start us off, my honorable mention, I'll put a picture in of it because I didn't bring it in here because of the weight of the vessel that they're in. They are my Marimo moss balls. They are really cool, very unique, and they're a little bit harder to find. You can find them on Amazon or pet stores. I've made a couple of videos on Instagram about them, so you can always refer back to those. But they're really stunning little moss balls, and I consider them more of an aquatic plant or aquarium plant than a house plant, so that's why they're one of my honorable mentions. I also really like to tend to my house plants and water them and cut them back and kind of keep them healthy and happy. And my Marimo moss balls are really no fuss, so I don't get that opportunity to really tend to that type of plant. So that's again why it's at my honorable mention spot. So starting us off at number 5 is my Marble Queen Pothos. And this plant was really shocking to me because pothos can kind of be boring. Yes, they vine beautifully and they are very easy to care for. They typically stay happy and healthy, especially if near light and getting a good watering. But this plant is just so stunning as far as foliage goes. I love the variegation on it, and it's led me to want to buy more plants with white and green variegation. I have a couple that are yellow and green variegation, but these are just, I mean, look at this leaf. It's hard to see because it's tucked back here. Just stunning. I mean, it has like a darker green, this kind of white minty green, and then kind of like a tone in between. And some of these are like, this one's mostly minty. Some of them have a little bit more variation with their color, a little bit more speckling, but just stunning foliage overall, and really beautiful plant. Super easy to care for as well. This guy is part of my living wall, so I will be doing a separate video about the living wall if you want more details on that. But yes, Marble Queen Pothos at the bottom at number 5 here. Number 4, I would say, is my string of pearls. So I purchased my string of pearls a few years back, and the reason that it's now just in my top 5 is because I didn't really fall in love with it right away. I thought the foliage on it was interesting, those little small pea-like pearls, but I didn't really fall in love with it until it started vining, and it has really, really grown a lot this past year and a half-ish. I think it's almost 3 to 4 feet long. I'll have to measure it for you guys and put the measurement down here somewhere, but it's just stunning. The foliage on it is beautiful, and once again, didn't want to bring that in here because it is so long and it's hanging in the window, so I'll insert some footage of that. But that is my number 4, the string of pearls. Stunning plant, a little bit harder to find too. You can't really walk into a big box store and spot one of those right away. It's kind of like a lucky find. I found it at kind of like a luxury nursery nearby. So you might be able to special order them or even get them on Etsy, things like that. But love a good string of pearls. At number 3, this plant really surprised me as well. This is what some people call a baby rubber plant. And this is not a rubber plant. But it is a Peperomia Obtusifolia Jade. There's also Peperomia Obtusifolia Red Edge, and it'll have like a little bit of red variegation around the edges here. And this plant I just walked by in a Lowe's or a Home Depot, probably around February of this year, and I just picked it up because I thought the foliage was pretty cool, but also the stalks are this gorgeous like burgundy red color. The camera is not nearly doing it enough justice. but in the sunlight, these stalks of the plant really, really pop, and they're this like bright red color. So I saw this and was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. And it has grown to be this beautiful, lush, hardy plant, and has again kind of led me to want to buy more Peperomia and look into them as a species further. These are kind of, a lot of the top 5 here are like gateway plants for me to want to look into purchasing other species and variations of each of these plants. So Peperomia, Obtusifolia, Jade here at, what was that, number 3? So we're getting close to the top. At number 2, this guy right here, who I couldn't even get to be out of frame just because it's so lush and beautiful. This was also a surprise for me, as many of the plants were. This plant was given to me by a coworker at the end of 2019 because her mother had purchased about 12 of these to put around her screened-in porch for the summertime, and then fell really sick and couldn't care for them anymore. And her mom is a plant lady too and didn't want them to die off. So her mom's fine now, but can't really care for as many plants as she wanted to in the past. And so she generously gave me 2 of these for free. And they can be a bit expensive, especially during the spring months when summer's about to start, because everybody wants these for the porches because they just look so beautiful hanging. And I believe this fern is either a Boston fern or a sword fern. They are so close in texture and foliage, it's really, really hard for me to tell the difference. And again, I'm not a plant expert, so I can't be 100% certain on which type it is, but it is either a Boston or a sword fern. And this was pretty sickly when I got it, just because she couldn't care for them when she fell ill. And so it got kind of dry foliage that started to fall off. And in the back here, I might insert a picture of it. There's some really dry kind of twig-like texture back here because I had to cut a lot of the plant back in order for it to put out this nice foliage. Also, this is the side back here that faces a wall, so it doesn't get as much sunlight and doesn't fill out as beautifully as it would if I was hanging it and it got like 360 degrees of sunlight and, you know, air and things like that. So stunning plant, really beautifully lush. I love the way it kind of hangs down on this plant stand. I can also put a picture of it kind of just in my home on this plant stand my grandma gave me. And I love this plant, and it's again become a gateway plant for me to want to purchase more fern species and things like that. So he's at number 2, just barely beat out by, and you probably saw them in the thumbnail, Cactus. So I have really fallen in love with cactus this year, cacti, just because they come in so many different like textures, shapes, sizes, colors. The needling on them I find is super interesting, and a lot of that has to also do with the fact that I tend to find interesting vessels for the cacti to be in. Like, I love this pot, so I'm gonna love the plant that's in the pot. Same with this one here, it's kind of like a little twin pot situation. These are just so fun to have around, and again, a lot of the plants on this list are easy to care for. I mean, one of the harder plants to care for that I can think of that's on the list is maybe the string of pearls, and that's only because it's up high for me and I have a hard time watering it because I don't want to get a chair out or ladder or anything. So other than that, these are all super easy to care for and mostly easy to find in big box stores. On the harder side is maybe the string of pearls and possibly the marble queen pothos. Sometimes these aren't always around like their usual all green pothos are. So you might have to do a little digging to find one of these, but all pretty easy to find, super easy to care for. And these are just at number 1 because they're so fun and was unexpected for me. I didn't think I'd be like a cactus collector. I'm not really into succulents, and so I didn't think I would like cactus as much as I have been this year. So this guy is particularly my favorite. I mean, how adorable. I always get lots of questions about this guy too, and a lot of people ask if they're real or fake. Like, I would own many fake plants. I have one in my bathroom because it doesn't get any light. in my bathroom we don't have any windows, but I do not own fake plants. So no shade if you do. I love plants either way, fake or real, but these are so bringing me so much joy this year in 2020. So I'm definitely going to be collecting more cacti, more ferns, possibly more Marble Queen Pothos, or at least plants with variegation similar to the Marble Queen. Definitely more Peperomia. I mean, this guy is just so full and lush. Stunning. Quick grower too, very quick grower. As well as possibly looking into getting more string of pearls. So those are my top 5 favorite houseplants of 2020. Going further into this year, I will be also doing a video on plants that I have killed in 2020 or plants that I've killed in the past few years, 2019 and 2020 combined, because it does happen to me. I do kill plants, believe it or not. And so kind of to get that bad juju out of the year, we'll end the year with maybe that video, as well as some planters that I like and possibly a plant tour. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today, and maybe this inspired you to purchase some of these species of plants to fill up your home in 2021.